everybody, it's jettee.lupe here, and welcome back to my channel. On today's episode, we're going to be talking about my Glaceon costume. So I do this on my Instagram every once in a while. I do like a cosplay spotlight, so I ask you guys what costume do you want to see up close and personal, so I'll take that costume and pretty much talk about all the little bits and pieces of it, how I made it, little secrets, things like that. Basic story is, if I can do it, you can do it. So before we get started, remember to go over to my Instagram to see more pictures of Glaceon. I will try to post one sometime at the beginning of this video. So recently you guys had asked for Glaceon, and since Glaceon Day is September 1st, I thought what a better day to do it than today. So before I start, remember that I have all the pictures of Glaceon over on my Instagram, so you can go over and check that out. If you're not already following, be sure to subscribe to this channel because I recently got upgraded lighting and camera due to some Ko-fi donations, so I really appreciate that so much. It's so helpful. I'm really excited to have the new camera and lighting and everything. Have Patreon, things like that, so you can go over and check all that out. Also, I just want to give a shout out, my shirt and skirt and my ring actually, are all from Evo Store. I have a code, it's jettee. I'll link them down below. jettee gets you 10% off, and they have really cute stuff. Like, I'll just show you guys like a really cute skirt. So let's get into it. So how I like to go through my costume is basically from top to bottom. It's the way that if you're going into craftsmanship competition, the easiest way to remember to talk about all the different parts of your costume in your 5-minute window is basically to start from the top down. So that's just how I go through them too, because I think it's easier to remember everything. So we will actually start with the ears, and I will take them off, but just want to give a shout out to my amazing wig stand that I have. I was struggling with wig stands for so long, and I found this one on Amazon. I do have an Amazon storefront where you can find this item specifically on there. It was like $20 and came with a bunch of stuff like clips and T-pins and sewing things and weft things. Like, you'll see it on there. You can go over and check it out. And anyway, it has been so great. It has like a little like clasp thing here that's just on this little table. Pretty much put on any table. So anyway, I'm in love with it. So let's get into it for real now. So the ears, I make almost all of my Evolution and Gajinka ears pretty much the same way. They are very large, as you can see. I mean, they're pretty big. These ones actually, I think, are my biggest ears so far. I have a tutorial for this on my Patreon that you can check out, but I'll just comment and talk about it really quick. So I usually start out with a dollar store headband, and then I do wrap it in duct tape because it needs to be able to bend enough to actually go over your wig. So I wrap it in duct tape so that I can go like this and it won't snap. Then I use jewelry wire, like I think like 12 gauge, and I usually just get aluminum because it's easy to bend. And I will actually make a skeleton, and you can kind of see that here. You can kind of see that there's definitely some wire here. Just made it in the shape of the ears. Then I took the fabric that I used for the actual outfit, and I just lined it with that. And this sparkly fabric is also from the actual costume, so I just want everything to kind of match up. I just glued it. You can sew it if you want. Depends on what type of ears you're making. Since these are pretty flat, since Glaceon is pretty flat ears, I figured this was the easiest way to go. It also has these big clips. This is my one thing I will say for like all of my Evolution ears that I like to do, is use these very large alligator clips. I'll try to add these onto my my Amazon as well, so you can see the ones I actually use, but they're very large. They're like 3 inches, but these will not budge on your head. And what's great about them being so big is that you can kind of like get them in your wig cap, and like whatever hair that you have underneath. So it works out really well, and I do performances and things like that. This costume was made to be an ice skating costume. Well, I'll show you later, but it was meant to be moved around in, and these did not budge, so it was great. Next thing I will move on to is this little hair piece here. This is actually just made out of foam, like craft foam, not EVA or anything like that, and you can just see on the back, it's just glued together. And this is for her little, like, I don't know, whatever it is, this part. So she's gonna fall, of course. So just has a smaller clip on it, just because I didn't need to be so huge. But I have these alligator clips in like a couple different sizes because I love them so much. And I just used some a couple different sparkly paints on here just to, you know, because it's icy and sparkles and me just go together. So that's how this is made. I'll just move on to the necklace really quick because it's easier to get off before I grab the... I think that my lights just changed colors again. My lights just change colors on their own. I'm not really sure why. If I can get this off, that'd be great. It's stuck to the hair. Okay. The necklace is also, this little gem part is also made out of the same foam, and paint and everything. This is a 4-way stretch spandex, which I used on the skirt, so it's the same material as the skirt. And then I have, you can see, hopefully, this is a holographic ribbon. It's actually on clearance like at Target in like the holiday section because I made this in February. So I just used this ribbon. It was actually wired ribbon, so I did have to actually pull the wire out of it to be able to sew it onto this because you don't want to try to sew through wire because sometimes your machine doesn't like that. So that would be my suggestion. And then there's just, the clasp is actually just some Velcro so that it's just easy. So regarding the wig, and I will spin it around in a moment here. I know that it looks kind of all over the place on here. So I'm still pretty new to styling wigs. So this was one long wig. If you go into my Amazon, I'll leave this here. If you go into my Amazon storefront, you can actually search by costume so that you can see all the things that I use. And I believe that I have this wig listed on there. This was a very long straight wig that I did cut and style. Obviously I'm not great at bangs. I did cut these ones and they come out a lot better. The more you practice, the more you learn, things like that. I wanted to do straight across bangs because I felt like that kind of matched Glaceon's style. Regarding the little tendrils that she has, like, you know, these thingies, I've seen people make them a few different ways. I decided that this whole thing kind of reminds me of hair, so I wanted to make mine actually attached to the hair. So this is, I just cut these, and these are actually dip dyed. It's going to be really hard to see, and I will try to pick it up and show it closer to the camera. These are dip dyed on the ends, and I actually just used Sharpie. Like, I literally put it down and used a Sharpie and colored it, and I haven't had any problems with it, and I've worn this a few times. So I will spin it around. Another nice thing about this wig stand is that you can do this. So as you can see, the back is in a long braid, and it does have a little bow on the end, and the little things are actually cut into diamonds. Diamonds are a big thing with Glaceon. She has, you know, diamonds on her back. If I can just show you. She has like diamonds on her back, and everything is pretty much diamond shaped. So diamonds are a big thing with Glaceon. So did this long braid, and again, this was a very long wig, and definitely you need a lot of different like detanglers and like some skill when it comes to working with something so long. And the ends are also dip dyed. You can actually see it a little bit better here. Again, just color, just because I thought it looked cool. I did have this like sequined, I don't know, hair stuff that I had laying around, and I really wanted to do something interesting with the back of it versus just having like a regular braid. This braid is long enough that I can tuck it around in the front, but I do tend to leave it behind because I just like how it looks from the front. But I did try to make this like diamond shape, and let me see if I can turn it slightly more so you can see it. This was actually a lot of work, just because I'm not so great at styling wigs yet, that this was definitely a lot of work to continue to detangle, but it wasn't too bad. I just looked up a YouTube video on kind of like how to do this, and then I just added in the sequence so that you would be able to see it all the way down. So overall was not too bad, and the wig itself was not very pricey at all, so it ended up working out pretty okay. Definitely I want to redo these bangs at some point. I am actually going to be redoing this costume in general for Anime USA this year, so definitely keep a lookout for that, and I'll show you. Basically I'm changing the skirt and the bodice. So now we will move on to the bodice. So I am going to be pulling it out of a bag. The way that I store my cosplays right now is each cosplay has its own like tote bag, and everything for that cosplay goes in that bag so that everything's all in one place, and it's not like, oh, shoes are over here and the wigs are over here. I try to keep everything together in one bag, and then that way it's just easier to find what I'm looking for. So, but a reason that I'm going to be pulling it out of the bag, so remember that really sparkly material? It sheds glitter like crazy. So I actually got that material on Amazon as well. It was supposed to be, it was labeled as like 4-way, but it ended up being only 2-way stretch, but it worked out. But it was definitely not the highest quality fabric I've ever worked with. Like Ruby Sylveon's fabric is also all glitter, but it doesn't shed like that. So I think it was just the quality. So the reason I'm going to pull it out of this bag and hold it up is because I literally don't want to get the glitter all over me right now. As much as I love glitter, that's the reason. And so I know it's going to be a little bit harder to see, but that's why I'm pulling it out of the bag, and it's not on a mannequin or something like that. So the whole actual outfit is made in 2 parts. There's the bodysuit part, and then there's actually a skirt that is not attached. And there's a couple reasons why I didn't do the skirt attached, and I'll show that in a minute. But basically, what we have is, I'm going to put this, I don't want the glitter all over. So Glaceon's outfit was based off of an ice skater's outfit, so this is just the top part. So I did do this wide boat neck, and there is a reason why I did this, which I'll get to at the end. But it basically has the shape. A lot of skating outfits do have like a mesh or nude top on it, but it usually has a couple different necklines. I just went with this one because it makes sense for the change that I'll be making. The bodice is it's also lined in that holographic ribbon. The sleeves are long sleeves. I did use a pattern for the sleeves just because I've never made long sleeves before. And the glitter is just, I mean, you're not going to be able to see it on camera, but it is just all over. One thing that I wish that I did is on these little sleeves, I wish I had put one of those little loops to be able to like keep it around your finger so that it doesn't slide up, so I will be adding that onto it. I just did a diamond shape, again, like points on the front for the top. And on the back, I do have another diamond shape, and it does come down in like a diagonal form to look more like an ice skating outfit. And then the bottom is a bodysuit, so you can see it does have one of the little like closures on the bottom. And I did use Velcro for that. I just don't prefer the snap ones. For me, it's just easier to use the Velcro. And also another thing with using Velcro is you can kind of like line more of that closure part. So, you know, if you have a little bit of trouble fitting in it next time, or if it's a lot looser next time, you can kind of just kind of make it a little bit tighter there, and I think that it helps. So that's the top, and again, I apologize for not wanting to eat out, but like, I know you probably can't see, but it is really, it's a lot of glitter. And I'm like very visible from far away. I wore it on Sunday of Otakon this year, and definitely I was quite visible. So this is the skirt. Oops, hold on one second. So the skirt is a circle skirt, but it's actually cut in 2 pieces. I wanted to make the back longer, so you can see that here. The back is actually longer, I just wanted it to be a little bit more covered up in the back. And it's very, very flowy. Again, wanting it to be like a ice skater's outfit, I wanted it to be flowy. Another thing that I did is on the seam sides, the teal pieces are actually, there's a slit here. If I can find it, there's a slit here. And that actually helps it to be a little bit more flowy. And then for these points, actually I had to use math to get these points, because when you're making a circle skirt, since you're doing everything on a curve basically, it's really hard to just cut things straight across to make them all the same. So I actually had to get like out of compass and figure out how to measure from basically the point of the middle part of the middle skirt, the middle of the circle skirt. If you've ever made a circle skirt, you kind of know what I mean. So I had to basically use math skills and geometry skills to make sure that all these points were all the same size and that they weren't like diagonal or too narrow or anything like that. And this is again that holographic trim. And so I did keep this separate because I felt like it was easier to work with the costume with the skirt being not attached, plus I was able to get it to be a little bit more flowy since it wasn't like this part wasn't pulling on the bodice itself. The main reason is that I am going to be, like I said, redoing this costume, different parts of it, so I'm going to be adding a different skirt onto it. I will let you guys know at the end, kind of like the big reveal or whatever. So the last thing I wanted to show is the shoes. These are very sparkly, obviously. I am in love with these shoes. These are actually children-sized Heelys, so they do have a wheel in the bottom. I took the wheel out for Otakon. I don't think that the wheels were allowed at Otakon, plus my feet were really tired by Sunday and I didn't want to like deal with it, so the wheels are out of this, but normally they're in. I did wear them at KatsuCon. I'm not great at skating, and wish I was, but these ended up matching really, really well with that same fabric that I used on the top, so I really enjoy wearing these. I know that they're not really like ice skating shoes, but they're as close as I could get, and I really enjoy them a lot. And I just think that they're just so fun to wear because they're so sparkly. So if I could Heely, this would be a lot better, but I'm not very good at skating. So just wanted to talk a quick minute here about the changes that I'll be making to this costume coming up at Anime USA this year in November. I am planning to do a masquerade performance with my Glaceon costume, but I actually want to make it more Elsa inspired. So that's the reason that I have that type of boat neck type neckline. It's similar to Elsa's with that type of sheer fabric on top, as well as keeping the skirt separate because I knew that I would want to change the skirt. I think I will keep the Elsa skirt separate as well so that I can change back to the ice skating outfit when I want to. So look out for that, and that's another reason, of course, that I did this in a braid style. So, you know, always thinking kind of in the future what's going to be coming up. That way I don't have to make a whole nother outfit all from scratch. Another note about my Glaceon costume that I really like is I've been wearing ice skating tights or dance tights with most of my costumes that are like dresses. Specifically for Glaceon, I bought a pair of ice skating tights that actually have rhinestones down the sides of them. If you look at my KatsuCon pictures, also my Lola Ninetales pictures have that same tights. I think the dance tights or ice skating tights, like, not only will they help keep you warmer, especially if it's a winter convention, I think that they're more sturdy than regular tights, and I just feel more comfortable wearing them. I'm pretty sure I have those over on my Amazon storefront as well. I really like them. They're really cute, and they do come in a couple different like variations of rhinestones, and they just look really nice. And it's just something extra to kind of add to your costume. So I would recommend. So thank you guys so much for coming to see this breakdown of Glaceon. If you have any specific questions, be sure to leave a comment below, or you can go over to my Instagram and DM me if you have a longer question. That's fine. It's a fun costume. I think that this one, the sewing part, I think I actually did within the last like 2 weeks before KatsuCon. I think that I just ran out of time. I think Ruby Sylvia took a long time. So I wish I had a little bit more time to work on it, but I knew, knowing that I was going to want to change it at some point, you know, it was fine. So and if you have any questions, feel free to comment below, go to my Instagram to ask those. And yeah, look out for the new Glaceon, and let me know what costume y'all want to see next as the cosplay spotlight. If there's a specific costume you want me to see me break down, just let me know. Well, thank you guys so much for coming, and I will see you next time.